Horses are expensive. So expensive. Do you know, on average, we calculate when we have a schooling horse that it will cost us $200 a week, including grazing, feed, shoes, etc. $200 a week to own a horse. Expensive, right? There's plenty of ways to cut the cost, there's plenty of ways to kind of try and balance the cost, but none of that matters if you pay attention to my 10 ideas how to make money. Can the winner not? Please? That's right. You can make money from horses. I'm not saying everyone should dive out and go and start schooling other people's horses and riding them. It's really dangerous, and there's a lot of kind of factors you need to consider. If you fell off this horse and you broke your pelvis, like I did, but it was my own horse, but if you broke your pelvis and were out of work, is that suitable to you? That kind of thing. So these 10 ideas are aimed at things that aren't necessarily super dangerous, but they're also aimed at things that can be done after school or in your part-time, like within part-time job hours and things like that. If you need some extra cash, these are ways you could try and get it. So sit tight, and here we go. Idea number 1. So this is something I even did for a while, back when I first started my degree. So I do a degree in marketing and design, so I'm quite qualified to comment on good kind of ideas. Anyway, this idea is picking up poo from horse paddocks. Sounds super boring, sounds super simple, but believe it or not, plenty of people work full time and don't have the time to do this. So it's your chance. If I were to do this, I would just put out simple ads on like Facebook or something on those means in your local horse stores, or just try and put some flyers and people that clearly have horses, just advertise it. You never know how many people don't have time to pick up horse poo. So that being said, if you're kind of on the younger side of things, there's a few things to consider before delving yourself into this. Are your parents going to have to pick up and drop you off? So if you're super rural, most likely. If you're super city, most likely. But if you're kind of in the middle, you could try and ask your neighbours if you can do it for them. Now, if you want to take this job into a next level step up, a really good idea is to offer weed removal services. So coming into summer, is that when you cut hay? Into summer, sometime. When you cut hay, when you see the grass is long, people have to go through and weed that. So if you can offer weed removal as well, you could make a whole heap of money, especially off of people wanting to cut for hay. So offer weed removal and offer poo picking services. Idea number 2. So idea number 2 is offering adjustment. So this works really, really well if you are in kind of a cohesive shared grazing system. So in New Zealand it's a little bit different. We don't have like huge riding farms where everyone puts their horses. We're not like that. We don't have huge barns. What we do have is a lot of kind of individual people in co-shared spaces. So if you keep your horse in a co-shared space where other grazers are there, or alternatively, if you live somewhere with lots of horses nearby, a really good idea is to offer adjustment for these. Now it seems weird because you don't use your land, but if you can offer people services like putting on and taking off covers, feeding morning and night, before school, after school kind of thing, mucking out, you will be onto a surefire idea. You will make money, I promise you. Like, that is the easiest way to make money, doing the things people don't want to do. And like all of these ideas are kind of situated around the fact you're not really going to get hurt. So you shouldn't really get hurt feeding a horse kind of thing. So number 2 is do adjustment stuff. Someone's here. Okay. Number 3. Was that talented? I don't know if I'm going to be able to edit that, but if it was, it's cool. Number 3 is the idea of making tack. So I don't know if you saw on my Instagram story a while ago, I bought this really cheap stud girth and I painted on a really cool pattern, right? Heaps of people loved it, heaps of people hated it, it was 50-50. But the point is you can earn money customizing tack. So whether it be learning how to make bra bands, learning how to paint tack professionally, it just takes some fancy acrylic paint and stuff like that, whether it be creating braided horsehair bracelets and key rings and stuff like that, get crafty. This kind of co-aligns with someone who buys tack and sells it again, so someone who bargain hunts and then sells it again, so that's an option as well. But be sure to know when you're bargain hunting, if for example I listed a bridle for $50 and it's been on Facebook or Trade Me or whatever you sell on for 6 months, it's not worth $50. So do not buy it. So do your research, do your homework, make sure if you're selling other people's gear that, like second-hand gear, you really have a good concept of what you're putting in and getting out of it. Other than that, back to the customizing gear, you can make bracelets, you can do all of that. Takes nothing super special, just a good craft and practice really. 4. There's a bug. There's a bee. It's gone. We're good. Number 4 is offering turnout services. So if you're like me, I don't have a lot of time in the week, and believe it or not, my grey horse is usually yellow all the time. If someone came to me and was like, Nicole, I'll wash your horse for $40, I would do it every day for at least a week until he's clean. So offer people turnout services, practice how you can plait, how you can wash, all of that stuff. Get savvy at it, and if you're just naturally good at braiding, then head on out and offer to plait people's horses for shows. Again, you're trying to create a job which is in demand, so something people didn't think they needed, but they're like, hey, that would be way easier for me. So plait people's horses, wash them, get socks sparkling, all of that. And again, generally this is something like it's a wee bit higher risk than the others, but you should kind of be all good, as long as it doesn't eat you. 5. Number 5 is editing people's photos and taking photos. So if you're somewhere where there's a few shows and things like that and you have a camera that's quite good quality, jump on that bandwagon. Honestly, all it takes is you to sit at a show, snap some good shots, post them on a social media, and people will be like, hey, can I buy that? If you don't have a great camera, look at asking like a lower price, maybe $1 or $2 per photo. If you have amazing shots, then you can put the price up. Something important to remember here is often people who are taking these photos, they're professionals, often they have fancy cameras as well as editing software, so a lot of them are running them through apps like Adobe Lightroom, Adobe Photoshop, that kind of thing. So be sure that if you're going to step into this realm, you're kind of playing with the big ballers, so make sure that you're kind of on par with those good photos. If the horse is like that, don't post it. So you do have to really edit, but this is something that you can make a lot more money off. If 10 people buy your photos for $2, that's $20 straight off the bat, and it builds up really quickly. Plus everybody loves sharing good photos of their horse, right? Number 6, that's a 6. Number 6 is offering kind of water blasting services. Now it sounds crazy, I know, it doesn't have to be only done in the horse industry. You can be water blasting people's windows, their homes, all of that. But anyway, the point is, if you can water blast floats and things like that, then you'll be able to make a quick buck. It's awesome. Most parents will have a water blaster. If not, you can look at buying one second hand, super cheap. But water blasting floats, trucks, stables, all of that, total necessity, especially with the competition season coming up. Number 7 is actually something really interesting. I have on several occasions considered starting it myself, but I already run 2 companies, so I really do not have time. But anyway, the whole idea is around the concept, I suppose, of dry cleaning. So this is kind of a touchy one. You'll need to make sure if you're doing this, like this can be a bit of a touchy one. You need to make sure if you're doing this that you are insured in some ways and you probably have a bit of experience, you know a bit about fabrics, blah blah blah. Do your homework, but the idea is around re-whitening people's jods. My jods are stained. I'm going to do a video on like trying methods to whiten them, but I don't think any will survive. I don't think it will work. But if you can find a way to offer job whitening or things along those lines, gear cleaning, anything like that, then you are on to a gold mine, especially with the idea of re-dyeing leather saddles and stuff like that. They get faded after a while. It just happens. So if you can offer services which fix that, you will make bank. Number 8. That's 8. Number 8 is building jumps. So I have sold quite a few cross-country jumps in my life. It is a really easy way to make a quick buck. If you have hammer, screwdriver, that kind of stuff at your house, it can be really easy. It's something that your parents can get behind, especially if you have quite a handy dad. I don't have a dad. Oh, I should not say that. Especially if you have a bit of a handy dad, it's a great way to get some money. People happily pay anywhere up to $200 a show jump, so it's a definite way to make money. You can do like portable cross-country jumps and things like that. So if you have a handy dad, you're a bit creative and it takes a lot more work. Like you're sanding these poles, you are having to buy some resources like screws and cups. If you're all in for that and in for a big challenge, but a suitable business which will take you from here to here, then look at building some jumps. It's actually quite easy once you get a hang, and once you've kind of got a bit of a manufacturing flow, it's simple as, but make jumps. Side note, future Nicole from 2 seconds later, button in here. Something to remember about jumps is they're not super portable. People often aren't going to buy jumps if they have to travel them a long distance because they're expensive to travel and it's kind of weird having to go and pick up your jumps, right? So if you're in an area where there's not a lot of show jumpers or not a lot of eventers or something like that, get outside the box. If you can start making things like bridges for horses to walk over and stuff like that, find your industry. If it's more Western, make Western kind of things. If it's more English, make English side of things. But judge your environment and then decide from there, I suppose. And if that being said, that's the end of this video. Make sure you hit subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I don't really have a posting schedule, absolutely useless at life in general. So if you want to see when I post videos and stuff, the best thing you can do is subscribe and hit the bell notification. Otherwise, you'll be living in the dark like I do most of the time.